Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're starting the basketball player interviews. My first guest from Middletown South is Isabella Orlando. Bella, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you are a junior, correct, at Middletown South?
Yeah.
Excellent. Um, I like to start off. I like to find out how the players found adjusting to going, full remote. At the end of last season, and that you being at Middletown South, I know during the fall, there was times the school went full remote, and I know you're just coming back out of being full remote. How are you finding those adjustments, and how you finding going to school, going remote, going to school, going to remote?
Yeah, it's definitely a change in pace. For starters, I mean, like last year being shut down, we were thankful enough to finish out our season. And then pretty much right after that, we kind of went right into it and we were all home. And it was like kind of the main height of the coronavirus, and we were all home like 24/7. So it was different. It was definitely a change doing online school, working out in my own like backyard because the park started to close. So it was definitely different. I'm grateful to have a hoop in my driveway. So me and my dad would go out a lot and shoot, and he'd rebound from it and just do that type of stuff. But it was definitely a change, especially now seeing that we go from like playing and then like all of a sudden like we don't like there's no like notice. It's just like all of a sudden we're like out, and it's definitely weird. I think because it's been going on for like a little bit now, we're starting to like kind of understand that that happens, especially seeing like all of our fall sport kids
Yeah.
have it happen to them on multiple occasions. It wasn't us then, but like now going through it, we understand, and like we can see that it stinks and it's obviously different.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little advantage being the second, season sport, but it's still tough. Just, you're getting the text or the phone call from your coach, go on Google Meeting, we got, and then he tells
Yeah.
everyone. Um, Now, did you find it hard, you girls started practice and then, you get the call that you're shut down before the season started. Um, did you find that difficult? You thought, okay, we're finally getting ready to start after the season was pushed back from, December to, 1 month as it was. And now, Middletown South, a couple other schools too, they get the phone call saying, all right, you're not starting until the beginning of February now.
Yeah, I mean, seeing of which the season already has been like postponed and it's like shortened to like 6, 7 weeks now. The idea of just like you think in your head like 6 minus 2, that's four, like 4 weeks. It's like we went from having like a 4 month season almost to a 4 week season, and it's like a crazy like difference. But I mean, having it happen in the beginning, I feel like maybe it was better per
Yeah.
se because we only had like 1 week of games. It was one team, it was two games. Like it was easy to get us jumping right back into it. So that was nice. But overall, like just like getting postponed and like stopped playing, like it definitely took us like by surprise because I feel like once we got into it, we're like, all right, like we're just like hoping like we'll do the best. Like us as a team, we're gonna stay safe. We're gonna stay together. We're not gonna go out really. Like we're gonna just focus. Like it's 4 to 6 weeks. Like we'll stay home. Like we want the best for our season. So then when it stopped, it was kind of like a downfall. Like it was like mountains and valleys. Like it was definitely like down, but like now that we've gotten through it, we would meet up together. We'd still try to stay together. We'd like talk to each other so we could keep our chemistry together and like stay alive. So that way when we jump back into it today, it's not like we just haven't seen each other in 2 weeks.
And the tough thing, the players, and I saw it during the fall, they made the sacrifices. They stayed home only, they only left, to go to school or to go to soccer or, field hockey. And I know a lot of basketball players are doing it, and sometimes, it's getting shut down for non-athletes, catching it and stuff. And sometimes no fault of their own, a family member might just catch it. But, that has to be difficult, especially when, you're making the sacrifices and you just want to get through the season and finish your season out. One plus is I think yesterday the state said they changed it where you could play 4 games in a week to help schools make up some of the games. So that, that is a
Yeah.
plus. I know soccer, I think you were only allowed 2 weeks where you were allowed to play 3 games in soccer.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on, to the basketball stuff. How old were you when you first started playing?
I was like 8, 9 years old. I was in like the second grade. So I mean, I played like rec basketball and like that. Pretty much once I moved here from New York, I started playing basketball. And then as I grew older, I played Mid Monmouth and then started playing AAU.
Did you play any other sports?
Yeah, I pretty much played like I gave everything out a try. I went lacrosse, softball, soccer, swimming, cross country, and then I played field hockey in middle school and my freshman year.
Um, why did you give up field hockey?
It was just a lot, like altogether, and I wanted to really just like I loved it, but I wanted to just focus on basketball because it kind of took up like my whole preseason where I would be training. So I would still be able to train, but then it would just be like I would go from field hockey to like a basketball workout, and then I'd have to do like school and then sleep and then wake up and go back. It was just a hard schedule, and I realized that I'd rather just be doing basketball.
Yeah, I don't know how, the amount of training that goes in these days compared to when I was your age, and, keeping up with your schoolwork. I don't know how you girls, find the time to do both. And, do you have good grades?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all of you have good grades. See, when I was in high school, you either played sports or you had good grades. You did not have both. Um, do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have two younger siblings. They're girls, they're 11 and 8, and they both play basketball.
Do you help them when you can?
Yeah, I definitely try. My middle sister, who's 11, she plays for like the Hawks.
Mhm.
So I go to her games and definitely help her out. And sometimes she's more forthcoming with me helping. Sometimes not as much, but my youngest sister plays softball, so she's like, "You can't help me. You never." I was like, so funny.
That's funny. How old are your youngest sister?
8.
Eight. That's funny.
Yeah.
Um, what have your family and your parents meant to you in your development?
They've definitely been my biggest supporters and have just helped me through everything. If like my dad, I remember I wanted to like do cheer when I was younger and like he was like, it's your choice. Like but like I knew deep down, like obviously he wanted me to play basketball. So I mean ever since then, like he's just like helped me like get everywhere and he's like pushed me even when I was younger and I was like, I don't want to play anymore. He just like helped me get through everything.
Yeah, and AAU is tough too because it is very time consuming. So I'm sure them taking you to all the practices
Yeah.
and everything. Growing up, who is a role model that you looked up to?
I'd have to say like probably just like my parents in general. I mean, my dad grew up playing, he was a three-sport athlete in high school. He played baseball, basketball, and football. So kind of just looking at that was kind of like him as a role model. So I was like, right, like if my dad could do it, I could do it. Like, like, I mean, him and his brothers all grew up playing basketball. Like my uncle won 4 state championships in New York when he played basketball in high school. So I was kind of just like, and he's a very big, like he still plays basketball even now and he's like 45. So I was just like, like if he could do it, I mean, I think I could do it too.
Do you ever like lean on your dad or your uncle to, if you have questions, about, certain situations in a game or stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know like when we get our like lineups and stuff, like who we're gonna be guarding and all that stuff, like I'll go to my dad and I'll be like, how do you think I should like play like differently depending on who's guarding me or who I'm guarding and like what I should focus in on that game, like in particular and overall.
That's good. Yeah, especially since they have the basketball knowledge too.
Yeah.
Moving to talk AAU briefly. What teams have you played for AAU?
I used to play for the Short Shots, but I currently play for the CJ Hawks for Coach Mayo.
Coach Man.
Yeah.
I met him during the Point Pleasant Summer League for the first time. Very good guy. Who are some of your current teammates the on Coach Mayo's team?
Hannah Orloff, who plays for Township.
Uh-huh.
Um, Jalen Smith, she plays for Central Regional.
Mhm.
Charlie Rosen, who plays for RFH. Trying to think who else. We haven't seen each other in a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. Who was your coach for Sure Shots when you played for Sure Shots?
Coach Lauren Bauer. She
Okay.
coaches for Matawan right now.
Yeah,
She started coaching there.
I interviewed Lauren 2 weeks ago, right before the season started. Um, uh, Great person. I know Mary Beth well.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of your teammates on the Sure Shots?
Jen Farah, Molly Burns from Point Borough. Two of my really good friends now, Tori Crovo from St. Rose and Morgan Lipinski, who goes to Ranney.
Really?
So yeah.
I'm gonna switch over to high school. Your junior. When you were going in as a freshman, what were some goals that you might have set for yourself that you wanted to accomplish throughout your 4 years there?
I definitely say one of my biggest goals was to win a state championship. Throughout my 4 years, it was something that I saw, and I saw Steph Cars, who's I'm thankful to have as one of my coaches now. I saw her win, and I was like, that's definitely something that I want to accomplish. So I think that was like probably the biggest thing that I wanted to accomplish.
Now, your freshman year, you girls won sectional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that feeling like being a part of something like that your first year?
I was definitely like the most amazing feeling. Like just thinking about it gives me the chills. It was crazy. Like just like I remember like walking into the gym and seeing everyone, all like the student section was just like a huge blob of like white. Like they all had white on. It was like a white out. And it was just like all you saw was like a bunch of people in white shirts and like white shorts. And it was just like the coolest experience ever.
Yeah, that's why high school sports is the best.
Yeah, and it was also like a really good game, which had like
Yeah.
we went into overtime, and it was just like against like Marlboro, who was kind of like a rival to us that season. So it was like really cool to just see us like come back from like in the beginning of the season where we played them in the Wobum and we like struggled, seeing how we like overcame that at the end of the season.
Who did you play after that in the group semis? You
We played
remember?
Lenape Valley.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was at Central Regional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for the first half because Manasquan and Manchester played before, right? The game
Yeah,
before.
they played right
Yeah, I was there
before.
for that
Yeah.
game. So your freshman year, were there any upperclassmen that you were able to go to or lean on if you had questions or issues?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say Isla Bryan was like one of my like biggest helps just from like school to basketball. Like even if I was like nervous to take like my like semi like final like in school, I'd be like I'm like scared for like my midterm, and she would just like help me through it and be like, you're fine, like you'll be okay. Like from everything like from that to like basketball, it was kind of just like nice to have someone there, especially as a freshman, her being a senior.
Yeah.
We had a good like connection, our seniors and our freshmen, because there were 5 freshmen and there were 5 seniors. So it was kind of just like really cool to see us all like together and see like how the generations have gone on.
And that has to be good to, when you got, good seniors like that, calm you down, when you're nervous and stuff. Because, I know how it is being a freshman and um, it could be overwhelming sometimes. And it's good when you have somebody older that could help calm you down and, guide you the right way.
Definitely.
Moving to your sophomore year, what was something you wanted to improve on, from your freshman year?
I definitely wanted to make my game as a whole overall, like from like defensively, offensively, like everything like better. I wanted to make it more of like a well-rounded game. I also had like one goal set for myself that I wanted to start. So those are like 2 things that I really focused on in the off season, and especially once the season started.
Now I saw the team play a couple of games. First early on against Manasquan in the WOBM, right? You guys played in
Mhm.
WOBM. I saw that game, and then against Colts Neck when Cameron Fultz had a ridiculous amount of points in the first half. That game was impressive because the team was down quite a bit, and then you kind of came back. Just fell a little short. I want to talk a couple. but you had a talented group of seniors last year. Kayla, Steph, and Caitlin. What was something you learned from them? That you were able to carry over to this season.
I definitely say one thing, especially from my freshman year to last year, the upperclassmen showed us how to be leaders and how to take leadership roles because they were very good leaders to us. So, I mean, like Kayla, who's one of my best friends, like she definitely helped me like see how to become like a leader and like how to like step up like when someone needed to step up, especially seeing like Steph, Kate, and Kayla were all leaving. Like our junior class really had to step up, seeing of which we only had one senior.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really like our time to like become leaders and like pick up that role that we've been having like carried for us over the past 2 years.
We'll get to that in a second. Being a very heavy junior class this year, but what just real quick could you name any highlights that you had last season?
I definitely say the 2 Marlboro games that we played in. I shot the ball pretty well, which was nice for myself because I like to shoot the ball well, obviously, but I mean being in practice and like it's nice seeing it pay off because we did shoot the ball a lot last year, like in practice. So seeing it pay off in the games just for everyone, like from Kate to Steph to Kayla, like across the board, Renee, like everyone, it was just nice to see us shoot the ball well.
And especially the 3 seniors last year, they could all shoot it from the outside too. So,
Yeah.
you had dangerous weapons. Um, moving, to this year, we talked briefly about, being delayed and stuff. Back, when the fall seasons were ending, did you think, basketball was going to happen with, because basketball's inside, everything is a lot more restricted going inside. Did you think the season was going to happen?
I mean, seeing last year, like that everything started to pick up in the winter, it was definitely scary, especially seeing the girls soccer team and field hockey team not being able to finish out their state run, or really play in states and like period because of this. It was scary. It was definitely kind of just like tried to focus and work out every day, and like every time we get pushed back it was like, all right, like we were all just like hoping for something. Like we'd text in like our group chat and just be like, hey guys, like can't wait until like when we're all back with each other, like because it was like a while. Like we usually start at the end of November, right after Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. So starting not until like January was definitely like crazy because we normally do like our like Secret Santa with our basketball team, like not being able, we didn't like spend Christmas or anything with each other Christmas Eve. So I mean, it was like kind of like scary. Like I didn't like, I hoped we would have one, but like at the same time it was kind of just like we didn't really know what was going to happen. Like it could have went either way at any point.
Yeah, that'd be tough, and it being delayed, and especially during that Christmas week when a lot of teams do those tournament, whether it's WOBM or different tournaments throughout the state, where it's a good time, for the teams to bond before the season, really gets going, and all those were canceled, and it's just different, and trying to get the chemistry together in such a condensed time and then being shut down for 2 weeks kind of eliminates, it stinks. You brought up, it's a very heavy, a bunch of juniors, only one senior. Now, obviously, the juniors have to be, you're going to be expected to take the leadership role, the team with, to help the senior out. What are some of the things you're hoping that the underclassmen pick up from you and the other juniors and the one senior?
Definitely like leadership roles in general, but more so like when we're in practice and just like sometimes it can be stressful when the underclassmen don't pick up plays like that quickly. We all like look back and we're like, that was us 2 years ago. Like now we're like, we can only imagine how the seniors felt when we were all there. Like, so we're just like, we got to just keep her calm, like help them through it. So it's just like definitely like keeping your calm with them and telling them like, it's all right. Like it's gonna, we also don't like that simple of like an offense. So like teaching them was just like very like, it's all right. Like it's going to take time to pick up. Like it's not something that's just like the next day you'll know it. So just going through it with them slowly and like helping them understand is definitely something that we do.
That's great. I asked that question to, all the seniors I interview and, juniors, and, you're the first one to give that answer, that you were there at, 2 years ago, and you understand what they're going through. So, that's a great answer. And it's great outlook, that you and other juniors have too, that, realizing that you were there, and it'll help make them realize they can get through it. So that's great. Last question for this season. What are some goals that you have, individually this season? And then, what do the team goals for the season?
So as a team, I'd say one of our biggest goals is to win our pod, which is definitely something like it's kind of like winning our like division, but like obviously it's a little different now.
Yeah, I don't get why it's called a pod. I mean, there's still divisions.
Yeah,
I don't.
a little different, but I mean it's the same kind of gist. Like it's the same idea, I guess. So that's definitely like one of our biggest goals, and kind of just to like work together, play as a team, and build our chemistry, especially for next year, because next year like we'll have a very heavily filled senior class. I mean, I think we'll have like 8 seniors. So willing everyone stays to next year. So it's definitely like one of our big things.
I find that, this season, you got certain schools like, Rainey, Trinity Hall, they're kind of younger, and they could throw their freshmen into the fire because, there's no state tournament, to get them in there and build. And, with your team, with only one senior, this is also, get the chemistry perfect. And then, by the time we get into next season, you guys can make a big splash being, such a senior heavy team. And, teams always, if teams are equal, if you get the senior leadership on a team, that's going to be the difference
Yeah.
there. So that's good. You up for some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What's your favorite subject?
Probably math. I
Math.
mean, yeah, I enjoy it. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Most people don't. I don't really know.
So in high school and grammar school, math was my favorite subject, and then when I got to college, I hated math and
Yeah.
English and writing. I ended up becoming a journalism major,
Mhm.
and I hated writing and I hated reading growing up. Now I love it. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite TV show?
Grey's Anatomy.
And that's been on forever.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Probably Grown Ups. I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but it's just
It's a good movie. I like Sandler's great.
yeah.
Favorite song?
I don't I mean I listen to a wide variety of music from like everything, so I don't really have a favorite song in particular, but I mean I like the Zac Brown band.
What is something you enjoy doing when you're not at school and doing basketball?
I love going to the beach. It's like my favorite thing. I love like hanging out at the beach and just being in the ocean and in the sun.
That seems to be the popular answer in the short conference.
Yeah.
Before we start wrapping up, I like asking questions about, your future, what, your goals are and stuff like that. Junior, you're starting to look at, colleges. You probably already started, I don't, things are so different from when I was in school. What are some things you're looking at, when you're looking at schools, like location, size of school, that kind of stuff?
So I want to go to school in the South, like so Florida, Virginia area, Carolina. So I'm actually looking at Florida in particular, and I want to go to kind of a smaller school.
Okay.
I used to want to go to a bigger school, but I've noticed like as I've gotten older that I think that'd be more beneficial going to a smaller school.
Do you know what you want to study?
Yeah, I want to major in sports management and marketing, and then I want to minor in communications and public relations.
That's impressive. What do you want to do when you
I want
graduate?
to like either be like a sports broadcaster or just be in like the sports management marketing world.
I'm gonna try to broadcast play-by-play one of the games streaming, maybe Friday night. Let's see who's on the schedule. I'm gonna try. So somebody gave me that idea, and we're gonna try it. So we'll see, where people could open up my YouTube page and listen to me, and they could watch the game. We'll
That'd
see
be
if
cool. Yeah.
yeah. I asked a couple schools if they had play-by-play. One school was coach was trying to get me to do it, but the school didn't have the equipment. Where I would actually be there, doing
Mhm.
play-by-play, which would be
Yeah.
cool, because that is the one element that's just missing from streaming these games. But
Yeah.
I have to say, the schools did a really good job getting the streaming services, whether it's YouTube or the
Yeah.
NFHS network. What's Middletown South on? Are they on
We
NFHS?
we are trying to decide that. I mean, today I think we're gonna kind of put a cap on it. We're gonna figure it out. I think he's looking to do YouTube, but I know the boys I think are doing NFHS.
And
Um,
Middletown North is too.
yeah, North is
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Okay. Last question before I let you go. What advice would you give your younger self, or your younger sisters?
Definitely that there's gonna be a lot of lows and like sounds cheesy, but like it's hard like sometimes, and like that's when you kind of just look to lean on your family and your teammates, especially because they're going through it with you and they will help you through it because they know what you're experiencing, and kind of just like, I mean, to look at like upperclassmen and stuff and lean on them because they could help you through it because they've all been there. Like we've all been there, and we're all like, all we don't want to do is help each other because we know how everyone feels. And I would just say, like, don't be afraid to ask for help, and like just like stay in it because it's worth it.
When your sisters get older, you're gonna help them when they ask you for help.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it'll definitely be like kind of weird because once my sisters are in high school, like I'll be off in college. I mean, my youngest sister, when she's in high school, I'll be out of college. So it'll definitely be a little bit past my basketball days once I'm out of college. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see like how everything's changed and if like, the style of plays change and all that stuff.
Yeah, because definitely the style has changed since I was in high school. High scoring game back then was like 45, 50 points, and now you got, I think I saw a team score 94 points yesterday, I think, when I was going through the state scores, and it's just different. Um, I know what Jackson averaged like 72, I think, last year, and it's
Yeah.
just such it's a quicker game than it was, and a lot more 3-pointers.
Yeah, it's definitely shooting, a lot of shooting.
So, all right, Bella, thank you for joining me. I'll let you go. And what, you got practice today, or today's
Yeah.
and tomorrow's your first game?
Hmm.
Okay. And who do you open up with again tomorrow?
For Hill Township.
Real Township. Okay, that should be interesting matchup. I think they've
Yeah.
played 3 games already. I think
Yeah.
3 games. Yeah. So and they had tough matchups the first 3 games. So, well, good luck tomorrow, and good luck Saturday against the Red Bank Regional. So,
Thank you.
no problem. Have a good day.
Thank you too. Bye.
Bye.